Hey there, and welcome to the Flow and Thrive podcast, where mastering your flow state unlocks a life beyond your wildest dreams. I'm Rini Khanna, your guide to merging ancient wisdom with today's world. So whether you're a spiritual trailblazer, holistic health champion, or you're ready to turn your dreams into reality, this is your playground. As an Ayurvedic herbalist, day trader, artist, mathematician, and dedicated mom, I'm all about helping women like you effortlessly manifest your dreams. So join me each week as I reveal spiritual traditions to level up your health, your wealth, your relationships, and your business. So are you ready to thrive? Let's do it. Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Flow and Thrive podcast. Today, I'm talking about collapsing time. And the inspiration for today really came from the Flow and Thrive experience, which is my membership, where people have been manifesting things that they thought would take months within days. They've been manifesting things that they felt completely disconnected from, things they thought they could never even have in their reality within 24 hours. So this notion of collapsing time is transforming the way that they're manifesting. And this has nothing to do with being more productive. It has nothing to do with working harder. It has nothing to do with affirming more or trying harder with your manifestation techniques. This is all about moving from doing to being. It's getting you off the treadmill and actually having you walking and getting somewhere, right? Because oftentimes we do a lot of these techniques and we feel like we're on a treadmill of constantly healing, constantly affirming, and not seeing any result. The trick here is to move from that to actually being, to just being on a journey, to just walking and moving and seeing things unfold. So when we talk about collapsing time here, we're talking about quantum leaping. We're talking about jumping timelines, shifting into a reality where you have your desire. There's 2 reasons that you don't have your desire right now. The first is that you believe that certain things have to happen in order for it to manifest into your reality, right? So in your mind, you've created a to-do list or a strategy, and once that strategy is executed, then I will have what I desire. And there's still a lot of people that will execute the whole strategy and still not have the desire. But first, I want you to consider, where is that strategy coming from? You might have grown up with the notion that, you know what, go to school, get a good education, get a job, work hard, get promoted, save some money, and this is how you become rich. Somebody else might have grown up with a whole different set of conditions. They might have been grown up with conditions like, if you want to get rich, start a business. For me, I made my money trading stocks. That's the notion I've even given to my children. Hey, you want to make money, learn the stock market. These are the conditions that we put on things, and we start to create our stories as to how things are manifested into this world. We come up with our own cause and effect. But what if I challenge that? What if for a moment you thought there are no conditions? Anything can happen in any moment. What if I removed this cause and effect and realized that it's because I'm holding that belief that this is the cause and effect that becomes the cause and effect, right? I believe that in order to meet my partner, I have to go on a dating app, then that becomes the cause and effect. I believe that I would have to date a lot of people and kiss a lot of frogs, so to say, and then I'll meet the prince, then that becomes my reality. Those are the conditions I've created for it. But there's a whole bunch of people that believe different things and still create the same outcome, the same result. So what if the conditions could become irrelevant? What if the current condition is the only condition required to get what you desire? This is when collapsing time happens. This is when we can shorten the time between wanting our desire and actually having it by saying, to me, the conditions are irrelevant. I will not judge any condition or any current circumstance as being something that is taking me away from my desire. I will not, in my mind, hold beliefs that certain conditions have to occur in order for me to have what I want, because I understand there are infinite ways to get my desire. If you can completely drop this notion, that's half the battle. But we still don't get what we desire. And like I said before, there's a lot of people that will execute all the strategy and still not have their desire. And the reason here is our identity is not a match to our desire. So what gets us our desire is not a bunch of preset conditions that we have to follow through on, and then we get what we want. Because how many people do that and still don't get their desire? What gets the desire is being a match to the desire. So if you can be a match to the desire now, you get it now. The faster you can match your identity to your desire, the faster you get it. That is the trick of collapsing time. And this is the work that we've been doing. We've been talking about how do we actually let go of our ego, let go of our identity. Because remember, guys, your identity is associated with your body. Otherwise, we're all energy, we're all frequency. We have a body to which we have attached an ego and an identity. So every time we try and shift this ego, shift this identity, our body has a little bit of a rebellion because it feels unsafe, it feels uncomfortable. It wants to bring us back to our current identity, to our current ego, because that feels familiar. That ensures survival to our body. For the body, shifting your identity sometimes can almost feel like life or death. Logically, it might make sense to you, but your body might still be resisting. And when your body's resisting, it calls the shots from the shadows. It's your subconscious that starts calling the shots. And I don't like to use the term self-sabotage. You resist your desires because they are a threat to your identity. The work around collapsing time is not just about focusing on a desire and manifesting it. It's on detaching from ego. It's on detaching from that identity. This is like a muscle. The more you flex it, the more often that you allow yourself to shift identities and be a match to your desire, the easier it becomes. It's like going to the gym and exercising, right? The more you lift weights, the easier it becomes. Your body becomes used to it. This is the same way your body becomes used to shifting identities to get what you desire. It's about practicing it. So the work that we've been doing in the Flow and Thrive experience is to get comfortable with shifting identities, with shifting patterns, with shape shifting, basically. And when we do this, we can move from identity changes that are quote unquote bigger and bigger threats to the body. So it may not be a huge identity shift for you. Let's say you're at a job, you're a manager. It may not be a huge identity shift to go from being a manager to, say, a director. But if someone came in and tried to make you the CEO of your corporation the next day, that feels like a really big identity shift. The same goes for people who are looking for relationships. If you've been single for a very long time, if a huge part of your identity is attached to being single, it's a very big shift to be in a relationship. And so what people do is they start to shift that identity slowly over time. When we collapse time, we shift that identity in the moment. And not only do we shift our identity, we shift the identity of other people. So the example I wanted to share today, because this one blew me away in the Flow and Thrive experience, one of our members wanted to have an experience, a joyful evening of conversation with no tension with someone that matters to her. She wanted to have this experience. And when I asked her to connect to it, she said, I just don't feel connected. It feels like a desire that can never happen in my reality because this is the way this person is. And we've just never got on and things just never are good. Unless, of course, maybe we have a drink. And I said, well, that's a condition, right? Now you've created a condition and the focus becomes on fulfilling the condition, not the desire. You always want to keep your focus on the desire, not the conditions, because the conditions are actually quite irrelevant. They're irrelevant because they're very easily replaced by other conditions. We talked about this in the beginning of the podcast. Somebody might have one condition on making money and someone has another and someone hasn't. There's infinite ways to make money. So the condition is irrelevant. And when we focus on the condition, we're focusing on something that's irrelevant. So right away, we removed her focus from that condition on the alcohol. I said, I want you to shift that. The next part was the identity that she was holding on about the other person. Now, these identities feel so real to us, right? Because we've had so many experiences with this person and we're like, they don't change. They never change. This is how they've always been. So now, instead of showing up focusing on a condition, she's now showing up focused on the identity of that person. And when that is held in your focus, you also behave in a certain way. And the way you behave is in a way that is a match to that identity. In a way, you're almost enabling that identity because you've held on to it. But if you can let go of that person's identity and decide that actually doesn't matter what their identity is. It's almost as irrelevant as the condition. How many times have we seen people change in different circumstances? You are now creating the conditions. You are now creating the circumstance based on the desire, not based on the conditions you think you need to fulfill or conditions that you think need to happen to get what you want. You're not basing it on the identity of the other person, right? So this might look like, well, I know how they are. Maybe if I say this or maybe if I say that, because now you're still a frequency match to that old identity. And you know that that old identity can never create that experience that she wanted. So she went in attached only to desire, not attached to her identity, not attached to the other person's identity, not attached to any specific condition that had to be fulfilled to get the desire. She went in attached solely to the desire and released all preconceived notions as to how she needed to show up. She showed up only with the intention of being a match to the desire. And she allowed her intuition to lead her into that because she's not been a match to the desire, because she's been so focused on other things, like we all are. We all do this. If these conditions get fulfilled, then I can have what I want. If I have these degrees after my name, then I'll get a good job and make a lot of money. If I heal all of my trauma, then I can find the right relationship. So we created these conditions and we focus on fulfilling the conditions instead of connecting to the desire. If we're not focused on the conditions, we're focused on the identity of the other person, then we show up trying to behave around their identity. So what she did instead is go in, connected solely to the desire, and move from that frequency. And by doing that within 24 hours, they had that joyful experience, the conversation, the dinner, no tension, what she had craved for so many years. By simply detaching from her ego, from her preconceived notion of the other person, and from the conditions. And this is something you can apply to every aspect of your life to collapse time. To let go, to surrender. This is what it means when they say surrender to your desire. You're fully surrendered. You're surrendering your preconceived notions of what conditions have to be fulfilled. You're surrendering your identity. You're surrendering the identity you hold around other people. It could be a client, a potential client that you want to work with, right? You might be thinking, well, they're never going to work with me unless I've achieved XYZ, or they're never going to work with me unless I do this marketing. What if you let go of that? What if you let go of their identity and those preconceived conditions and you just connect to the desire? You envision the outcome that your client desires and you become a match to the version of you that helps them get that desire and move from that frequency. Because when you do this, you've surrendered all the other things and all you're doing is focusing on being that match. This is how time collapses. This is how miracles happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I would love to hear your stories of collapsing time and how you might have wanted to manifest something for a long time and then you tried this and it worked for you, or you thought of something new and you tried this and you manifested it within days. Thanks for hanging out with me on the Flow and Thrive podcast. It's always a treat to dive deep and get real with you. Remember, guys, this journey is all about meeting and embracing the authentic version of you. So keep pushing your limits, keep having fun while staying true to yourself. And make sure to hit subscribe to keep all this good energy coming your way. Until next time, keep flowing and keep on thriving.